All right, another tricky one, very difficult one, but if we don't panic, we might be able to pull it off. Oops, something fell there. Little piece of vine charcoal. Let's see. I will. I will say that I have quite a few charcoal pencils prepared. So I always have one that is still good for use, and I just had to find it. So here we see again a very stretched side over here and a very compressed side over here. Pretty much a frontal view, but she's also turning away in space, and this is going to be the pelvis, or yeah, the pelvis. This is the belly area, and I'm looking for that underwear shape. Her head is turned away from me quite a bit. I think in this case something like an initial kind of bucket shape showing the underside of the jaw, and eventually the ear somewhere over there might help me capture that shape. And the other arm here is pretty straight downward. And then we get to the leg here, coming down, but also a little bit to the side. Moving all over the page again, maybe even a bit too much. I'm now finding the gesture of the index finger moving into the palm. Here we see the wrist, here we see the elbow, just about. So this arm is foreshortened, this upper arm. And, or this lower arm, I mean. Okay. Crotch, other leg, pretty straight down. Well, at an angle, but it's pretty straight on the inside, and it shows this rhythm curve on the outside. And here we see the index finger. In touch with the navel over there. And the other fingers are shorter. Again, the pinky is kind of doing its own thing. And And well, we don't see much of the thumb. All right, here we have the neck coming in and disappearing behind the ear, and we show a lot of hair, hardly anything visible of the face in this very difficult position for the head. I can show this sternocleidomastoid here, and just ever so slightly the underside of the chin hitting the neck. See a little bit of the mass of the breast casting a shadow, and the other breast, it's catching some light. I'm squinting now because I'm moving on to a little bit of value establishment, getting some read on the form. Okay. Well, yeah, obviously this finger, yeah, it's casting a shadow way down, and then next to the body. And we'll add some value or volume to the hip. Some shadow being cast on the underside and inside of this leg, which shows quite a little bit of volume. Well, what to do with this other leg or arm goes to show my anatomical knowledge. The fact that I call this a leg. Yeah, we see the bicep, brachioradialis, tricep. Here as well, I want to keep this mass with the strength of the curve on this side, and for the tricep it's more to the back, so there's this kind of asymmetry. And well, don't know how much I want to show of the ankle here, and also not that interested in the rest of the arm or hand. Here I'm just trying to indicate the finer shadows that I do think are relevant. But now it's probably time for the bigger areas of dark, starting obviously with the hair, and some of the face, this area here is caught in shadow. I'm also gonna push back in shadow this area, and now for the whole torso shape. Breast here, breast over there. The arm is actually catching quite some light. And well, we get something like this, right? The underbelly here showing a plane moving slightly away from the light source, or turning away from the light source. Another fun one. Let's stick to some finger painting. I'm contemplating the use of tissue paper. Sorry, that was an interruption by my little daughter. My guess is by the time I post this, you've heard her interrupt more often. Let's look for, yes, well, maybe this kneaded eraser can do most of the work. And now using this paper tissue, you see that it has a little bit more drag. I'm trying to always consider the surface over which I'm dragging, so as to conform to the volume, especially with more round surfaces. And it's probably nice to lay in and wipe in a little bit of halftone for pretty much everything on the face, just because I think that helps it being pushed back in space. And where's my eraser? Let's come in with some areas where we want to show nice light hitting. And if need be, grab a stronger eraser. Also here around the belly button, maybe a little bit here, and a lot of this area here for the breast. I think I can probably do with some refinement of the shadow areas here in the torso, and some stronger establishment of core shadow. I think by now you get the gist of it. You know the drill. You start with something fairly simplified and crude, and we work towards a more refined and sophisticated quote unquote render, as much as we want to or think we need to. And yeah, I'm not one for high detail, high realism rendering, but I think I managed to do enough to create an interesting but also convincing and understandable depiction of the figure. In that specific pose that I see in the reference or I have in mind. I have been described, and I would describe myself as more of a painterly, impressionistic artist in that sense. Not one that takes hours to render each hair with a 0.001 LED. And obviously I'm exaggerating a bit, so don't take it too literally. Not sure what to do with this head, but just a suggestion can already be enough of some hair merging with the facial features. A little bit too repetitive here, but okay. So we have, or I think I have, quite a successful indication of the orientation of that head. Not much more I should do about it probably. And that means it's probably time to call this session quits. See to my daughter what she wants. Probably a sketch of a unicorn or a princess from a fairy tale. And let's leave it at this. Grab my mirror, so we have a couple of fun sketches. I'm probably gonna do a couple more and fill this whole space. But for now, let's put this a little bit straight toward the camera and Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.